This is what you work for.
The Chiefs have won Super Bowl 57.
You're trying to go for that three-peat.
Let's be able to learn from everything.
The Eagles to Super Bowl 59.
You're going to have to deal with the Chiefs.
Mahomes. It's intercepted. It's James. Touchdown.
I put us in a bad spot.
Hurts going deep. Touchdown.
The Slim Reaper.
Mahomes jacked. Ball is out, and the Eagles have it.
Oh, my God.
And I want to come back next season.
It's only the beginning. The end ain't coming anytime soon.
Philadelphia Eagles have won Super Bowl 59.
The only day of the week that the Eagles don't play on are Tuesday and Wednesday. They play on Monday, they play on Thursday, they play on Friday, they play on Saturday, they play on Sunday.
But when I look at this schedule, thinking like, what is the number one thing that worries you about the Eagles this year? Or rather, what's the number one question, right?
Well, the coordinators.
No, well, to me, I think it's this. It's about the depth on the defensive line, right?
Yep, sure.
That's what. So look at those first 4 games.
16 in Week 18. The fact that the Eagles and Commanders don't play each other till Week 16.
Is that right?
And then they go twice in a matter of 3 weeks.
Hey, what do you say? All right, guys, let's go over the Eagles 2025 schedule. I'm going to give you my initial reactions. I'll come out with a more official prediction later this summer, but for now, I'm just going to give my initial prediction for what I see the Eagles doing in 2025. All right, so obviously, I think the NFL made a mistake by making the first week match up the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, it'll be big for ratings, and in that way, it's not a mistake. I just don't think it was the best opening game to start the season. In my opinion, it should have been either Buffalo, it should have been, not Buffalo, Detroit. It should have been either Detroit, LA, or Washington. One of those 3 teams would have been a much, much, much better opening Thursday night football game for September 4th. But it is what it is. We will play the Cowboys. I understand it. They want to make sure that they play the Cowboys before the Cowboys fall off the wagon, and then they're not even an interesting or competitive team anymore. At least that's their thinking. But anyways, so Week 1, I definitely think the Eagles are going to win that game at home, at the Link, with the fans going crazy. But this first stretch of 4 games to me is really tough, I think. I think it's going to be a tough 4 weeks to start the season. I think the Eagles will have to adjust to their new offensive coordinator. I think their defense is going to have to adjust to a lot of the new players coming in, replacing Josh Sweat, new safety, all that kind of stuff. So I think that's going to take a couple weeks before they start kicking on all cylinders, just like it did last year. But I do think they're going to come out. I think they're going to win that Week 1 matchup against the Cowboys. And then I think they're going to go to Kansas City the next week. And I kind of think they're going to lose this game, to be honest with you. It just seems like the Super Bowl rematch, the team that lost the Super Bowl always wins that game. Like, for example, our Patriots beat us after the 2017 season in that rematch. We beat Kansas City after the 2022 season. We beat them in that rematch. So a lot of times I think that's what happens. I think so. My guess here is I got Eagles a 1-1 through 2 weeks. Then we're going to play LA Week 3, but that looks like that's a home game, right? So if that's a home game, then I definitely think we're going to take LA. And we tend to have LA's number over the last several years anyways. I really think, yes, LA's a good team. They're much better this year. I still don't know if that they can stop Saquon Barkley. I still don't know that they can stop the run. It'll be a good test for them. They're a very good team. So I kind of think, but I think the Eagles are going to pull that one off. Then we're going to go on the road to Tampa Bay again, late September. Why do we always got to play them in that hot, humid place in September? Why can't we play them in December? So I think that's a very tough game. So I kind of got the Eagles losing that game. But either way, I think these first 4 games, I could see, I don't know exactly how it'll be, but I could see Eagles coming out of the first 4 weeks at 2-2, people panicking. The Eagles aren't the same team last year, blah, 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 blah. I think you're going to hear all of that stuff. And I think we're going to come out of this 2-2, but then we're going to start rolling. Then we're going to come home and we're going to play Denver Broncos. Good team, but I don't think Denver's going to come to Philadelphia and win. Giants, that's an automatic win on Thursday Night Football. And then we got to play, who's at the Vikings, okay? It's a harder game, but I do think we will beat the Vikings. We tend to have Vikings number anyways. So that's 3 straight wins. So now we're what? 5-2. Then we play Giants again, 6-2. So going into the bye week, I got the Eagles at 6-2. And honestly, I'm just being honest. Like, that's basically just initial reaction on how I see it. Then we're going to go play Green Bay Monday Night Football. That'll be a good game. I think we're going to beat Green Bay. I'm just not overly impressed with Green Bay. I don't think they're good enough to beat us. I mean, of course, you could lose any game, but I think that's a win there. So we'll go 7-2. Then we're going to play Detroit Lions. I would love if this was the opening game. I would love if this was a game. This is a game I've wanted to see for 2 years now. So I really like this matchup. I think the Eagles are going to beat that team. I think we're better, but it's a good game. It could go either way. So I'm penciling us in for another win. Okay, so that's 6-2, 7-2, 8-2, and then we play the Cowboys. Okay, so now we're gonna play the Cowboys on the road. We're 8-2. We're feeling good. I could see us dropping this one. Be honest with you, we're gonna lose some games along the way. So I got maybe 8-3 now. And then what are we playing? The Bears. I think we'll beat the Bears. Not a problem. So now we're going to be 9-3. Then we're going to play the San Diego Chargers. 10-3. I think that's a win. We're better than them. And then we're going to play Oakland Raiders. That's a win. That's 11-3. And then I don't know why the NFL scheduled this like this, but 3 of our hardest games are between week 16 and week 18. But I don't know that we're going to even need to win all these games here. So we're going to play Washington 2 out of the last 3 weeks. I'm going to say we're going to win week 16 and we're going to lose week 18. We'll probably be resting our players by then. So, and then we're going to play Buffalo week 17. I'm going to say that's a loss. I don't think we're going to need it as much as them. So what do I got? I got 4 losses, right? I had a loss against two up front. I got 1 against Dallas. These are all wins. And then 1 against Buffalo. 4 losses, 13-4. That's what I see the Eagles going. I think that's realistic. Maybe at worst 12-5. At best, probably 14-3. So 12-14, that's how I see it, just based off our schedule, immediate reactions. Now, there are a couple things to note. This is not an easy schedule based on last year. I think you're playing 10 playoff games, which is the first time ever for a defending champion to have to play in the following season. And then the other thing is we have no back-to-back home games, and that's also the first time ever for a defending champion. And then we also know they're going to ban the tush push. So I believe the NFL is throwing everything they can at the Eagles to stop them, to take them off their trophy, their championship aura. They don't want that anymore. Obviously, they're going to ban the tush push, do everything they can to slow down the Eagles, but it's not going to matter. I really think Eagles are going to repeat next year. I think they got the team. I think the slow start, it could be a slow start in the first 4 weeks of the season. I could see that, just like it was last year, before they get it going. And yeah, I mean, if the Eagles are healthy, I definitely think they're going to be a 13-win team. I think that's fair. I think everybody's going to be out to get us. But the thing is, Eagles, there's no team in the NFL that I feel like, oh, Eagles can't beat that team. Eagles can't hang out with that team, or I'm scared of that team. Really, I'm not. I mean, I think all these teams have weakness. I don't think Kansas City – I think Kansas City, is lacking a lot of different things. I still don't like their offensive line. I still think Travis Kelce's getting older. They don't really have a lot to scare me. Chris Jones is getting older. A lot of their star players are old. So I kind of feel like they might take a step back. But if you think about it, you're playing the best teams in the AFC, which is Kansas City and Buffalo. And we're definitely playing all the best teams in the NFC in Detroit, LA, Washington twice. Green Bay's a top team. Minnesota's a top team in the NFC. So we're playing all the elite teams on both conferences. And I do think we could beat any one of those teams on any given Sunday. I think we're better. But a lot of things happen in the NFL season. Can you stay healthy? Saquon's got to be healthy. We need him. He really is going to make us a hard team to beat. We got to rely on that run game. The run game is what will keep you from getting a lot of injuries. Shorten the game, run the clock down, control time of possession. Try and keep your defense off the field as much as possible. You do all this stuff, and you'll come out of the season healthier than the teams that are throwing it 40, 50 times a game. It's just the way it is. The run game protects your entire team because it keeps your defense rested. It keeps your quarterback from getting hit. It just does so much. And now that the season's too long, I mean, I don't really like the season this long. I'd like to go back to the 16-week season, but it is what it is. The run game is going to be the main thing that'll keep the Eagles from being healthy the whole season going into the season next year, as long as Saquon stays healthy. But hey, that's any team. Any team could say that. Now, do I think LA can dethrone the Eagles? I don't think they're there. I know people will go back to the playoff game from last year and say, oh, they almost beat the Eagles. The truth is the only reason they almost came close at the end of beating the Eagles was because Jalen Hurts got tackled weird and it hurt his knee. And he lost his mobility the rest of the game. And it made it very difficult for the Eagles. And they had to make some plays along the line. But before that, remember, we were up, 28-13 or something like that. So we were up 2 touchdowns. And LA is a good team. They're a good team. I think they're better than they were last year. But I don't think the game was as close as people thought when you take out that injury. We were kind of kicking their ass. And then Detroit, I think, is a very good team. I just don't like their quarterback in big-time moments. But they can beat you in the regular season. He's a good regular season quarterback. So that's a tough game. And but I don't really think anyone in the NFC is better than us. I think I give Washington a lot of credit because I think Jaden Daniels is one of those clutch quarterbacks. But they may have a hard time this year too, I mean, that second year sometimes can be bumpy for young quarterbacks. So we'll see how that works. But overall, yeah, I don't think this is anything the Eagles can't roll with next year. I think they're going to come out at worst 12 wins, at best probably about 14. And my prediction is 13 wins next season. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. I'll talk to you later.